Okay, so the other day, on the 17th of February 2021, Nintendo did their first Nintendo Direct in, I think, over a year, which is quite a long time between Directs. I think it's the longest gap they've ever had. And it was a long Direct. A lot happened in it. It was about 50 minutes long. And I thought it would be fun to just sort of go through all the things that happened, or all the interesting things that happened, and give my thoughts on them. This is going to be quite a casual video. I don't have much scripted. I'm just sort of going through a list of the things that I thought were interesting. So yeah, this could be a good video. This could be a terrible video. We'll see what happens. If I sound a bit different or a bit shit, it's because I've got a cold, which has been quite annoying. There's not really much I can do about it, so we're just going to have to put up with it for now. But yeah, let's dive into the Direct. So they opened the Direct with the announcement of Pyra and Mythra as Challenger Pack 9 for Smash Ultimate. Now, can I just say right off the bat, I do not care about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So, like, the moment that Rex appeared on screen, I already was not interested in whatever was going on. But, you know, it was made pretty obvious that it was a Smash reveal because Rex was doing the whole looking for Pyra and Mythra thing because they were missing. Like, it was quite obvious they were going to jump in and say, hey, turns out I went to Smash. Like, yeah, okay, good on you. Now, I don't know much about Pyra or Mythra as actual characters, but from the glimpse of them I got in, like, the whole fighter section of the trailer, I don't have a very good first impression. It looks like they're similar to Pokemon Trainer and that they're a 2-in-1 fighter, but Pokemon Trainer is already a 3-in-1, so Pyra and Mythra have kind of already been outdone in that regard. But my problem is that both of them are sword fighters, and not because there are too many sword fighters in Ultimate, but because in, like, the context of the fighter passes themselves, like, it's just too much of the same thing. It just feels like more of the same. So, like, out of the 9 characters in Fighter Pass 1 and 2 that we know so far, 8 out of the 9 are human or human-like. And out of those 8, 4 of them wield swords. So that's Hero, Byleth, Sephiroth, and now Pyra and Mythra. And it's 6 if you count Joker and Steve, since they also sort of wield blades, but they're quite small, so it's not kind of the same thing. Like, on their own, excuse me, as standalone characters on their own, they're fine, like, sure, whatever. But when they're all sat next to each other in the Fighters Pass, they all feel the fucking same. Like, there's hardly any variation between them. The only characters that stand out in the Fighters Pass that are quite different from the rest are Banjo and Kazooie and Steve, because they aren't just your typical human characters that wield some kind of weapon. But even Steve is technically human. As far as we know, there are only 2 DLC characters left in Smash Ultimate, so they're gonna have to pull something wild that stands out. Otherwise, I and a lot of other people are gonna be left a bit, disappointed with the lack of variety across the whole DLC. Because so many of them are just humans with weapons, humans with swords. It's just, give me something different, please. Anyway, the Direct was more than just that, so I'm going to give my thoughts only on the things I actually care about or find interesting, because there was a lot of filler shit in this Direct as well, and we're going to skip over all that rubbish. So, Fall Guys is coming to Switch. I know that was something a lot of people were asking for, and, fair enough. It totally looks like a kind of game you'd be able to play on the Switch, and it will most likely sell pretty well on it, so, smart move. The next thing that was somewhat noteworthy was Samurai Warriors 5, which I believe is one of those games where you control a character and mow down an army of enemies by button mashing. Now, to me, these games look terrible, and seem like they'd get pretty boring pretty bloody quickly. So it, like, blows me away that they managed to make a 5th one on top of all, like, the crossovers with other series. It's not really important, I just thought I'd mention how I don't understand the success of those types of games. Monster Hunter Rise was given a spotlight here. I've never played a Monster Hunter game, but it seems okay. I don't know if I'll pick it up because I'm not really that keen on it, but it looks fine. And then after that, they announced Mario Golf Super Rush. Now, I don't understand this either. Who the fuck is buying Mario Golf? Like, do these games sell well? Because from everything I saw in that trailer, it looks super fucking boring. Like, they advertised all the features you can use to analyze the wind and the power and distance and fucking whatever. And all that made the whole thing even more boring. There was the, what was it called? Was it like Fast Golf, Speed Golf, Super Golf, something like that? Which looks, it looks okay. It looks like it might be fun for, nearly 10 minutes. But, like, honestly, it just looks like the type of thing you'd see in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. So I really don't know why this game needed to exist as a standalone thing. It doesn't make any sense to me. After a bunch of more filler, there was No More Heroes 3. Now, I don't know anything about this series, but I found this trailer to be so confusing. I had no idea what was going on. Everything was going so quickly, there were so many different things happening, I just couldn't make any sense of it. But, to someone who's familiar with the series, I guess it would make more sense. After that, there was some more filler, but among that filler was something called DC Superhero Girls Teen Power. Now, this game caught my eye because it was just so strange. Like, I get that it's aimed at kids. Yeah, okay, that's fine. The superhero bit is fine too, there's nothing wrong with that. But why the whole make the superheroes high school teenage girls and make that like a second half? Like, that doesn't seem very necessary to me. I think focusing on the superhero bit would probably just be a better game than the whole high school thing. I don't know. I'm sure the kids who play it will enjoy it. It just looks very bizarre to me. The next thing I was actually somewhat interested in was Miitopia. And Miitopia is something I actually always hoped would come to Switch. I've always wanted to play it because it's like a proper RPG, but it's made so much more funny and adorable simply by including the Mii's faces on everything. So I'm glad to see that there's like a Switch version in the works. But I have a feeling that the price is going to be the price of a full brand new game because Nintendo can just be shitty like that. Hopefully it isn't. Fingers crossed that it isn't. But I'm expecting it to be quite expensive. But even so, I'm looking forward to it. I might pick it up, I'm not sure. If I can still get the 3DS version, then that's cheaper, I might just do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Miitopia. Shortly after Miitopia, there was a game revealed that was given the working title Project Triangle Strategy. Now, I'm very interested in this game. I'm very keen on it. Well, first of all, I think it has really cool visuals. I think it looks great. It's a beautiful game. And, there's just a lot... It has a lot going for it that I'm interested in. I like the concept of choices altering the story of the playthrough, which, that isn't exactly new to video games, but it's still cool because of how this game specifically executes it. In the terms of actual, battle gameplay, it looks pretty similar to Fire Emblem, and I like Fire Emblem, so I'm actually pretty keen on that. I gave the demo a go, and it's similar to Fire Emblem in some ways, but it's actually really different, and it's a lot of fun. Because I'm used to how Fire Emblem works, it took some getting used to, but it's very enjoyable, and I can't wait to play more of it. It's heavily story-driven, which I like, and even though the demo takes place a fair bit into the story, it's still enjoyable to watch it all unfold. The concept that it isn't just your decisions that influence the story, but the fact that the actual characters in the game vote on what the group's decision will be, means that the final choice might not even be the direction you wanted it to go in. So say, there's a part in the game where you can either choose to defend, the town, or you can hand over the prince to the bad guys. And you can choose whether you want to hand over the prince or protect him. And you can have your own say, but the different characters that you're with will also have their own opinions, and you can try to persuade them to vote whichever way you want them to vote. But you can fail to persuade them, and even though you choose an option, say you wanted to protect the town and not hand over the prince, even though that's what you choose, if enough of the other characters vote to hand over the prince to the bad guys, then that's what's going to happen. Your vote, even though you voted for something else, that's not the direction the story's going. I think that's really cool. That's pretty fucking wicked, I think. Additionally, I like there's an exploration aspect, which is sort of similar to the monastery in Fire Emblem Three Houses, but yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of this game. I'm, like, genuinely excited about it. You know, usually I'm not too keen on, like, brand new series, brand new IPs that aren't very well established, but this one has me genuinely excited to see more of it. Again, after that, there was a lot of filler shit I didn't really care for. There was some cool stuff, like Hades is getting, like, a physical release or something, and the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, that was cool, but everything else was just kind of, you know, whatever. And then, there was the Legend of Zelda section of the Direct. Now, this guy, who has a name I can't remember, says that he has no info to share about Breath of the Wild 2. Now, Breath of the Wild 2 was announced in E3 in 2019, I believe. So that was almost 2 years ago. Similarly, I think Bayonetta 3 was announced at the Game Awards in 2017. That was over 3 years ago, so I must ask this question. Why the fuck are games being announced so early? Like, what's the point of announcing or teasing a game years before there will be any sort of follow-up news? I mean, the only other updates we've gotten about Bayonetta 3 is that the game is being worked on and that it exists, and that it wasn't just a collective hive mind dream that we all had. Like, I just don't understand what the benefit is of announcing a game years before you even plan to show a proper trailer. Like, what did they gain from dropping that Bayonetta 3 teaser, when after 3 years we've heard nothing more of it? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. I would understand if, like, the game had been delayed, but as far as we know, that's not what's happening, so, like, what is going on? I'm just so confused and baffled by their decision to announce games so early like that. Anyway, the point of that section of the Direct was to announce an HD version of Skyward Sword with some tweaks so that the game can, like, accommodate the Joy-Cons as well as actual proper good controllers. Now, I don't much care for Zelda as a series, but this seems, you know, it's okay. My only concern is that this is going to be more of a port, similar to how Mario 3D All-Stars was handled, and it's going to be sold at full retail price, and I don't like that. I mean, unless Wikipedia is lying, because I looked this up afterwards to see, well, how old is this game actually? The original Skyward Sword came out on the Wii in 2011. You know, that's a 10-year-old game. You should not be charging full price for an HD port of a 10-year-old game. Like, it's not a full remaster or a remake or anything, it's just being made HD, if, you know, I've understood everything correctly. But, you know, knowing Nintendo, they're going to charge a shitload of money for it. And the Nintendrones will eat it up, and the vicious cycle will continue and continue forever and ever until the end of time. Until there's no money left on Earth because Nintendo took it all for charging so much. Anyway, I'm not going to find that. That's a topic for another time. They wrapped up the Direct with Splatoon 3, and, you know, that makes sense. Splatoon is one of Nintendo's newest series, but it's still a big deal, so it's a smart title to end on. I'm not a Splatoon fan myself, but I appreciate and acknowledge, you know, the success of the series, because it's done quite well for something so new. But it's going to release in 2022, and that's the same problem. Why would they announce it so soon? Like, the earliest it could release is January, which is around, like, 10 or 11 months away, which wouldn't be so bad, but it will most likely be released? It will most likely be released later in the year, probably towards the holiday season. That is way too large of a gap. I'd say a year before release is, like, the soonest you should announce a game. Otherwise, you're just keeping people waiting unnecessarily, and as someone who's, like, very impatient when it comes to, you know, game release dates, it gets annoying having to wait so long. So I just don't understand why they're doing that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Overall, I'd say the Direct was just okay. Like, there were some things I'm looking forward to, like Miitopia and Project Triangle Strategy. I'm really excited for them. But there's a lot that I just don't give a fuck about. It's kind of a shame that like the first proper direct in such a long time turned out to be an average run-of-the-mill direct. I mean, I guess I was expecting something a little grander for the comeback, but you know, I suppose there have been worse directs in the past. E3 is also supposed to be happening this year, so I'm sure there'll be some cool announcements there to sort of make up for the lack of interesting things in this direct. And of course not just from Nintendo, but from other publishers and developers too. So yeah, I guess E3 is the next big thing to look out for. Anyway, cheers for watching the video. This has been a bit more casual than my usual videos, but you know, I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Let me know what you thought of Nintendo's latest direct in the comments. If you thought it was great, if you thought it was shit, if you didn't watch it, doesn't matter, just let me know what you think. And if you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because that really helps, and I really like it when people do that, and if you do that, you'll be my best friend. But that's not true. But yeah, any support's greatly appreciated, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.